Alrighty, I believe we are up and running. I'm trying to get a look at the lighting situation we have going on here. A little bit later than usual, getting started. But hey, better late than never, right? We've got a fun request today. We're going to be doing two different color eyes, and we're doing a nice little red and blue swirl in the middle. Hey, Koala, today's the day, my friend. We are doing a red and blue swirl. Now I can't really swirl these the way I did the smiley faces, unfortunately, just because there's a lot more in the way with this. You know, the smiley faces were a perfect circle, well, my best attempt at, and that led them to be able to do the swirls and everything. So we are going to try to swirl this red and blue. We're going to do our absolute best on that. Well, in theory, as long as you can see, we'll be able to see both colors. Now, it's not really up to me, because sometimes the paint likes to do its own thing. You know, sometimes the paint really takes over. So I'm swirling it up in the cup as we speak. And it kind of looks like the blue is taking over, but we've seen this before where, you know, we think that's what the case is going to be, and then the color underneath it just shines through, you know. But we've got ourselves a nice red and blue, and we're going to see what happens. I think if the blue takes over a little too much, I'll go ahead and blast it with the heat gun so that you know, like the other color comes out and you can see them both. Just like what I did with this here with the black and pastel blue. So we're going to see what we got going on here. Let's see how far into this are we. We're about 2.5 minutes into the stream. Good as time as any, as long as I'm concerned. Let's hope I've got the portions correct. And I've noticed that the eyes are starting to kind of close in together, so I'm not going to be able to go up that area. I think I'm just going to fill in the mouth, lift, go up to the head, and hopefully that'll fill in on its own. I am trying to do some corrections with this because I'm noticing that it's starting to lose its shape. We're gonna ride this out and see how far we can take it before this thing is, you know, unrecognizable as an alien, really. So I do have here an equal parts red and blue. It's just that the blue paint does seem to be more dominant. And I theorize that we may end up with a little bit of a mix. Oh, maybe I can. No, I don't want to risk that. So we might end up with a little bit of purple shining through here too. We're going to find out. We're gonna do this. This is the closest we can get to a swirl. Just to kind of see what happens, right? That is pretty difficult to see against the black from yesterday. And this paint is not, does not seem to want to move. almost at all. This seems a bit thicker than usual. I'm trying to see if there's any way I can actually tell if the holes are closing up. I don't know. They are. I think this is already just not moving at all. Wow. This is pre-mixed pour paint, so it's made specifically with this intention. So it's kind of crazy to me that it's not moving as fast as I expected it to. Very interesting. Oh, I see the forehead has closed in, so that's good. There is some movement. But I'm seeing a lot of places that are kind of not filling in at all. So we may have to correct that. We might have to do a full second pour, not just at the top there. We're going to pour more into the top, see if that doesn't help push it along the rest of the alien head. We're really hoping for a miracle here almost. We're hoping to break the surface tension throughout the entire head, or throughout the entire face, while only pouring in at the top. I don't know how well that theory is going to pan out. I don't know if that's going to work. Alright, well, we've got the forehead closing in on itself, so that's good. That is a positive update. That's what we want to see. But the bridge in between the eyes, as well as underneath the eyes, and on the side of the right eye, are all just not moving. For anybody who might be new here, I don't usually provide commentary, but I do know it's kind of difficult to actually see the colors on this one due to yesterday's color scheme. So I may have to start picking ones that contrast a little bit better. So like tomorrow's, I'll have to go through the requests and find something that's a little lighter, something a little brighter even. We are going to just pour a little bit more here near the eyes because we don't want it overflowing. We don't want the face in the eye sockets. I'm no doctor, but the head is supposed to be outside of the eye sockets. That is what I understand of biology. All right, now aliens might be different, but only time will tell, I suppose. Okay, we're going to pour some more in to try to close up this hole here. In fact, we're going to push it in the middle because we've got two that are holding out. Okay, so that's that there, and it doesn't... Wow, man, this paint specifically does not want to cooperate with our project. Because, again, I can't tell if you can tell, or I don't know if you can tell, I should say, but there is still a pretty significant number of areas that are not being filled in, and the paint doesn't seem to want to push itself along. So this isn't my best work. If you're new here, please don't judge me based on this. Or do, I don't know. I can't really dictate how you judge me. Wow, this is this one is going to definitely push us into spillage territory. may have to resort to using a toothpick for the first time in weeks, because I do not see this surface tension breaking, and if I pour any more in, it's definitely going to overflow into the eye socket. So I got to go get a toothpick. Oh my gosh. You see the problems you're causing here, Koala? Look at this. Ridiculous. I can't work under these conditions. I kid, of course. I love this color scheme that you got going on here. I like that you're thinking outside the box and we're doing a little something different than we usually do. Okay, we have a handy dandy stick. We're going to try to kind of coerce this paint into moving properly without it spilling into the eyes. So we're just gonna kind of guide it along. You know, you don't want to actually push the paint into the hole. You want to push the paint into other paint so that that paint naturally fills in those holes. And this is how we avoid spilling over the puffy paint. This one is going to be very tricky. Again, we're trying to avoid any spillage. But if we push too hard, it's going to spill over. Come on now. Play along. So we've got most of this filled in. Big issue now is in between the eyes. I kind of figured this would be a problem just because, like I said before, the eyes seem to be getting a little too close together. I got to work on that. Now we're getting those spread out a little better. It is interesting to me to see how the slow evolution, because you don't realize there's an issue until you're like really deep into it. I was watching some of the older videos and I've noticed that like these eyes are so much smaller. I mean, you can actually tell from the shot that the alien head is getting smaller. So I'm trying to expand that. I'm trying to make that larger. But the eyes have also started to shrink and they're not as pointed as they once were. So like I said, I'm not sure, you know, we're just going to keep doing this until it loses all semblance of being an alien, I think. At which point I'll keep going. I'll just have to rename the series, I suppose. We're just stacking paint, that's all. Forget how low can you go. The question is how high can we go? Alright, so I think that's probably the best we're going to get out of this. And like I said, the blue does seem to have taken over quite a bit, so I'm going to blast that sucker with the heat gun. And we're going to see what kind of marbling effect we get out of it. Hopefully, a good one. So let's check this sucker out. Let's boot it up. And immediately, so unfortunately that didn't marble at all. In fact, you can barely see any red in there. I'm going to have to do quite a bit with the post-editing to get that to really pop. But immediately, as soon as I hit it with the heat gun, I saw all these little air bubbles pop, and that was really cool. And as you can see, I'm applying quite a bit of heat to it, and it just doesn't seem to want to marble at all. So that's kind of how we're going to just have to deal with the face. But if you're sad that you're not seeing a little bit of red, don't you worry, because these eyes are going to be painted two different colors. We're going to do red and yellow. What did I do with my yellow paint? All right, I found the yellow paint that I prepared. And we're going to fill in one of these eyes with yellow. There we go. Now see this one, we should be able to see a change pretty well. Putting yellow against blue. There we go, that's one of our eyes. I think I see some spillover already. Do I see that seeping in? I don't. Okay, I'm just hallucinating a little bit. No problem, folks. Alrighty, and now we're going to do the other eye in red, and this one you'll actually be able to see. Alright, here we go. Got a little drop that wants to come out. I don't want it to. All right, there we go. We saved it. Look at that. It's a beautiful primary color alien. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get that red to really pop against that blue. I was really hoping for that. Say it should be orange and yellow because I got the one I screenshot said red and yellow. But we'll have the edited version up tomorrow. And thanks for stopping by, y'all.